Comment, Mark.
Looking at you.
That's good. We've all come from different places, and we've come together because we want something special.
I think these characters have all been through so much and have come from such a place of darkness.
Even as an ending, there's new beginnings.
I don't think it's sunk in yet that it's over.
Anything that we've done before, we want to do a little differently.
We had to up the stakes higher than we've really played them.
Am I glad to say goodbye to the sanctuary as it collapses? Obviously, you'd like to see it burn in hell.
The frozen area was really cool. I think that's a landscape we've never seen on our show.
It's a total bloodbath.
Season 8 is a big deal, something that needs to be celebrated.
This is gonna be pretty beautiful.
It's like Strand says, this is the way that you live forever.
It's always hard to say goodbye.
It's bittersweet.
It grabs you by the heart.
It's gonna be pretty powerful.
Everyone deserves a second chance, no matter what.
It was definitely bittersweet when Andrew and I sat down and started to chart out the final episodes of Fear. It's been such a journey. It is such a gigantic task to think about bringing all these stories, all these character journeys, not just to a conclusion, but also kind of bringing them full circle.
You all took me in when I needed help. Now I'm doing the same for you.
It does feel like that we're putting a button on the whole series. Fighting for something better can get you killed. It's also something that can let you live forever.
It's a daunting task to finish a season of television, but when you know you're wrapping out a series of television, especially a show that is as beloved as Fear the Walking Dead is by its fans, you want to do right by the show.
I think it really has an elegant wraparound and an elegant ending. A lot of feelings and emotions now, and a really beautiful story. Everyone's a pro, and we're just trying to, work through it and celebrate each other.
I think we're all a little bit in denial and thinking it'll just keep going. There's always one around the corner, has been for years, and now it's been a little bizarre that there's not.
Every time we see each other, we give another hug because we could be the last one.
It all kind of boils down to the story, and the story that we think will kind of bring together all the themes, all the characters, everyone's stories in a way that will feel satisfying and also feel like it has some real finality to it. So it feels like it's saying something, and when you end up watching the finale and you ask the question, what did this all add up to? There actually is an answer.
Onward.
Colman's looking out, you see them, and they're gone.
When we started to think about where do we want these characters to end up, it actually led to the question of, well, where did they start? What was the beginning of their journey?
All of it comes full circle, which I always love.
The thing that we always reminded ourselves of was this phrase, the end is in the beginning.
Meaning that we would use elements from the beginnings of these characters' journeys resurfacing in their lives as ways to chart their growth, as ways to sort of put them through this final crucible of their past.
What you're trying to do, pretending we're family, it won't change what you did.
Look at who they were, what it is they wanted, and the things that were kind of standing in their way, and figure out how we could bring those stories around to arcs that spoke to who they were back then and who they were now, and we could see how far they've come.
I actually saw a picture of me and Sherry the other day on my phone from our first day of shooting. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see the comparison and just how much time has gone by. I remember it very distinctly.
I drew that when we were both living here. Me and you, forever. It made me feel like we could turn something bad into something good.
From the very beginning, our goal was always to tell stories that would give people hope and would be something that wouldn't just be part of the show, but people could take into their lives.
¿Eres tú de verdad?
Sí, Daniel.
Tengo años buscándote.
Me encontraste.
I really love what this show was attempting to uncover in all of our hearts and our humanity.
Do you trust me? Ask
We have to get the blood out.
You could do this, June. Maybe we just needed to work through the bad to get to the good.
I just love how our stories are told in the Walking Dead universe, where even as an ending, there's new beginnings and lessons from one character to the next.
What you did for me when I got shot, I want to learn how to do the same for other people.
That's what season 8 is about. What are you living for, and what is your legacy? I need you. I can't do this alone.
We truly believe in this idea that no one's gone until they're gone, that you can always come back from everything.
I'm not the man I used to be.
How do we know that?
Because I know you're not the woman that you used to be. That's what I love about Fear the Walking Dead. Who's the villain? You know, you're the hero because you're in the side of trying to do good. But those other people on the other side may think that you're the villain as well.
You took everything from me. I'm just doing the same for you.
For us, I think that really was what Fear was all about. The idea that believing in something bigger, believing in something better is a very powerful thing, and it can bring people together. It can help you build family. It can help you build community. It can help you really face some of the darkest things you can in this world.
Our show is always trying to relay messages out in the world on, like, what do you stand up for? What do you fight for? What do you believe in?
If you find Alicia, tell her I tried.
After all these years, you still don't know me.
Oh, I do. Victor.
We wanted to really sell this idea that all of our characters have kind of come together. They've passed into each other's lives, they've passed out of each other's lives, but they've all left these indelible impressions on each other. And the theme that kept coming to the front of our minds was this idea of family. And it all started with Madison Clark.
Alicia, come on!
I know she won't eat that.
It's gluten frickin' free.
She was this matriarch at the beginning of the apocalypse who always wanted to protect her kids, who wanted to create a world where they could be safe, who wanted to give them something that really didn't exist anymore in the apocalypse.
That place, what I promised those kids, that's all I have left, Victor.
I think ultimately people do need connection. You need family. Their instinct is to build a community that has family as part of its fabric.
I got people who are still breathing to protect.
All the other characters on the show were kind of swimming in the same desires to either protect their family, to find their family, to create those kind of emotional connections with their found family.
She's out there. We'll find her. When I talk to the showrunners about where do we go after season 7 and Strand's villainous acts, it's love.
Victor, it's up to you.
There was the beautiful gift that Alicia gave him at the end of season 7, where she says, I love you too.
I didn't just save you so you could live to do what I couldn't.
And with love, you can do anything.
I pushed Alicia away so she wouldn't get her hands dirty. I thought I was protecting her, but I was wrong, Madison. It wasn't about protecting her. It was about giving myself an excuse not to be the better man.
You can transform, you could turn your world around. And that's what he's trying to hold on to through the entire season.
How can you possibly trust him after everything he's done?
Because that's what you do when you give a person a second chance.
I think Victor and Madison and their family, their love for each other is palpable. I think their love for Alicia and Nick, and now Victor's new love for his adopted son, Klaus, it's the fabric, you know? It's what keeps them together. That's all they have, really. Colman and I have been looking forward to working together again for so long. And to be back together, it's pretty special.
We were joking the other day, we're like, I can talk about Madison one way, or she can talk about me a certain way, but don't you talk about Madison, and don't you talk about Victor.
We laugh a lot, we have a lot of fun, and then as soon as they say action, we're serious.
Don't let it get in your head.
I haven't seen Kim and Colman together since Kim left us in season 4.
You died a long time ago.
I've been getting that a lot lately.
I really missed that relationship, and having it back was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so exciting, and they brought their game in such a special way.
I love working with Kim Dickens because I love her deeply, and I'm always excited to see what she brings. She challenges me as an actor. She makes me laugh harder than anyone on the set.
It's like riding a bike. We just fall right into step together.
So this is it.
We talked a lot about it at the beginning of the season. We're talking a lot about it right now, about just staying really present and together. This is a family that we've created.
We're very connected.
On set, everybody's laughing at all times. I swear, even when we're rehearsing, Austin's always cracking jokes, and it's hilarious watching Christine and Jenna like play along. I just like to watch it, to be honest. Like, even if I'm not partaking in it, everyone's just so funny on set.
You have so many worlds colliding. You have the entire archive of Fear the Walking Dead coming in, and there are people that I've never met before. There are characters that haven't seen each other in 7 years, and it's very exciting to be a part of this.
We came here to find you.
We need you! It feels so cool to see these characters back together again.
We have to go, now.
I personally love working with Jenna Elfman, and another thing I love about the show is just the friends I've been able to make, and her and I are really good friends, and I think that helps so much our characters' relationship too. You really get to see the intimacy that both June and Sherry have with each other.
What happened to you? What happened to all of us? It doesn't have to happen again.
You can't do a show like this and work these hours and create like this without becoming family.
Here we go, pictures up.
Working with my brother over these years on the show has been incredible. We've done a lot of action and a lot of adventures together.
In a way, it's like we're telepathic. We know kind of how we work. I kind of never feel alone because we're like our own unit.
And all the characters that have come and gone over the years that we've killed or maimed or eaten. It's the sort of brotherhood of all the people here.
I've been on this show a very long time, and I was originally a Walking Dead fan. So to get this show was a dream, and this is one of those long running shows where you kind of become a family, truly.
I would always joke and say I became the weird uncle. That's been one of the greatest gifts of my career, is to work with those actors.
His name's not Anton. It's Victor Strand.
We've seen Strand slip in and out of all these different roles over the years, and we've seen that he's quite good at doing it. But what we wanted here was different.
He's not telling the truth about who he is.
Victor Strand has completely reinvented himself. There is no trace of the old Strand whatsoever. He's going by a new name.
My name is Anton. I've never heard of Victor Strand. You must be mistaken.
He's speaking German.
I don't speak German.
Wieso glaubt sie, dass du Victor Strand heißt?
Keine Ahnung. I had about 5 sessions of training with a coach. From time to time, I would wear an in-ear on the bigger scenes, just to make sure when we're having stunts and special effects and deeply emotional scenes that that language doesn't fly out of my head. So if it does, he's right there for me to feed me a line.
Wir müssen gehen. Nicht ohne Sie. Wir haben keine Zeit.
So the most important thing was really creating this sense of a man who has reinvented himself and who has found a family that is real.
Victor has something to live for, and he also has something to die for. And that shows you a person's true heart.
If you are Victor Strand.
I'm not. If you are.
We wanted to have a relationship both with Frank and with Klaus that felt real and felt lived in and felt like it had existed for 7 years.
I'm not that man.
When I was first assigned to direct, and I got the script and I read it, and I realized that this is about Strand and his return after years. And the fact that he's in love, the fact that he has a child now with his husband, the fact that they just built this beautiful community together based on love. I just remember feeling, oh my gosh, this is like a jewel.
I lied to you about so much, but what I felt for you was real.
Cut.
We were really excited when Denai said that she was interested in directing on the show. We've had such great success with our cast members directing on the show in the past, not just with Denai, but with Alicia, with Colman, with Lenny. These are people that know the show really, really well.
It's always such a daunting task for a first-time director to come in and step into these shoes.
Denai's first episode, it was a big one. It's the mid-season premiere. She is responsible for reintroducing Strand in a major way.
And it was in German.
And it's also about bringing Troy Otto back onto the show and setting the stakes for the big battle that is going to catapult us into the back of the season.
You want to fight, Madison? We'll give you that. We'll give you a fight.
I approach this the way I would approach acting. Actors, we prepare ahead of time. We memorize our lines. We understand why we're saying things.
Directing was the same for me. I really grabbed that script. I just opened it up exactly how I would do with acting.
Because she's an actor, it's really easy to communicate with her.
Even before filming anything, she sat for 2.5 hours with us. And she just gave me so many pointers on being on the show, being in this world.
Watching Denai take the helm as a director has been awesome. She really respects the craft of directing, so she wanted to know as much as she could know.
In acting, you do it with emotions, but directing, you do it with shots and timing and things like that. So I really prepare a lot.
I hope that she continues to direct, because all her instincts are right on.
I am thrilled that Denai is having the opportunity to direct an episode of the show that she has been on for these years, you know?
Directing as a woman, it's just a lens that is important to put out there.
There's great stunts in this episode.
I appreciate James and Jack, our stunt coordinators, so much.
Where the hell did that come from?
To create a fight over and over and keep it interesting, keep it exciting. And we don't want to repeat ourselves the way we kill walkers. We want to just make it all visually cool and fun.
It's integral that stunts, special effects, visual effects all work together. Whether Strand is taking out countless walkers with a sword, you need to plan each and every attack, especially for the end sequence.
Is there a back way out?
No!
They're trying to get away from this whole horde of walkers. They back in, they push all the bookcases down and back up into a corner.
But we really don't even have the strength to pull a 400-pound bookcase over, so the stunt team had to help us toss them over.
The bookshelves are real, the books are real, but how do we get the bookshelves to fall over? There's literally guys hiding behind the bookshelves, and we painted them out digitally.
We built a complete subfloor and had those cabinets bolted to the floor with hinges so they could just fall controllably exactly where we wanted them to go.
They're saved at the last second by machine gun fire. We added added all those squibs in, added the blood, added the spray, and we put bullet holes in the wall.
It was pretty epic.
It's just really cool and really dynamic, well choreographed.
What I take with me is this beautiful collaboration and teamwork that it requires to tell this kind of stories in a very efficient and exciting way that it keeps evolving.
She threw herself in head first, and we just were so happy with how the episode turned out. She really delivered on all levels. She got great performances from the cast. The action was really well directed. She really just knocked it out of the park.
Madison gave a lot of people second chances, whether they deserve them or not.
Like who?
Like me. Madison never gave up on me.
I think second chances are in many ways what this season is all about. This is a world that can be unforgiving. It forces people into very dark places.
Who told you about me?
And can demand really difficult moral actions from people in order to try and live in it.
What the hell is going on?
I killed your son.
Madison learns the truth that Charlie killed her son.
No!
And it feels like it is this stick of dynamite that's about to go off.
I mean, Madison kind of goes bananas.
It's not okay. If I hadn't brought her in the stadium, Nick might still be here.
She needs to be able to forgive, and she's having a really hard time doing that.
No, this is not for me. This is for you, so that you can feel better about what you did to Nick.
She's just angry and wants Charlie to make up for what she did to Nick by taking out Troy.
This is the least you can do.
She's doing that out of a desire for vengeance, out of a desire to make Charlie pay. And things don't go well when Charlie is inside.
A lot of great fire action in this episode. We had burning walkers, we had a fuel tanker on fire.
We had 2,000-gallon stationary propane tanks, which look like small cars. So we had 2 of those, and that was feeding all of our fire. We'll use some black smoke grenades, which are paintball smoke grenades. So super easy, cold, you can hold them in your hand.
We set up a full body burn just as Madison arrives at the scene. It's sort of convenient when they're walkers. We have a mask on already to protect the face itself, have a safety protocol in place, light the performer, they step out, and now it's just the performer on his own acting, falls to the ground, extinguish, and that's pretty much it. A good 10 to 12 second burn.
It's not your choice, Charlie.
Yes, it is.
In the aftermath of Charlie's sacrifice, all of our characters are very divided. Madison feels guilty about the fact that she sent her in there in the first place. Luciana feels like she let Charlie down. Daniel feels like he's lost one of his own children once again. It really becomes this fissure between our characters.
I'm not gonna let anyone else end up like Charlie.
She does regret that, and I think she sort of removes herself from the group, says, I'm not good for the group anymore.
And as we were really thinking about these themes, we were trying to figure out who the antagonist could be that would feel like a really satisfying foe for Madison and for Strand and for Daniel Salazar, and all of our characters to go up against. So the more and more we thought about it, the more and more it felt like
Been a while.
Troy Otto fit that bill.
We have Troy Otto returning, literally a ghost from the past. He dredges up a lot of unresolved feelings for our characters who interacted with him in the past.
We all know what Troy is capable of.
But also he was a character who in many ways destroyed a lot of the families on the show. And when we struck upon that idea of having Troy Otto come back, it really excited us. And then we were very lucky when we called Daniel Sharman and asked if he wanted to revisit the character, and he got excited about the idea. We knew it was all kind of coming together.
You and me have a lot to talk about.
When Andrew and Ian told me about it, I was like, this is a great idea.
When I figured out Troy was coming back, I mean, my immediate first thought was, this is really gonna spice things up, just because of how relevant he was and the relationship between him and Madison and how much he hates her.
She's gonna be the one to make Madison pay for everything she's done.
Troy Otto drops a bomb of information on Madison, and all the loose ends that Madison needs to wrap up for herself from her past are all coming into her face right now. So I think it's a really great device.
I'm gonna tell you the truth about who she is.
It's really great to have a character like Troy come back that's so villainous and has such an interesting arc. And to see how he plays in with Madison's character and then bringing us in and Daniel into the mix. Tensions are really high.
Next time, I'm going to make sure you really die.
We got a big stunt going on with just a car.
It's been a huge amount of collaboration in all of the scenes, but especially those that have practical effects, stunts, or visual effects. We're always pushing the envelope.
Very loud action going here.
Troy and his car getting tossed over the embankment. I mean, toss is a light word.
Dad, look out! It's a really awesome practical truck flip. That is all real. We capture pictures of the environment and we capture pictures of the lighting set. The DP spent hours lighting that set to make it look good, so that when we build this log to come flying out of the trees, it's gonna look like it fits. And then we have to have it hit that car. We're gonna put a dent in the door.
That's a beautiful VFX gag. It was on a car flipping mechanism. That machine is so powerful. It could throw a car 80 yards if it needed to. It's incredible. Inside of the vehicle, we had this air-compressed balloon that was under the car that special effects would fire, and it would lift one side of the car up. And that's something I went to the special effects shop maybe 2 weeks before shooting, and we put that balloon underneath and rehearsed.
We only have time to do it once. We've got to be ready for them. So through a lot of testing, trying different positions, different pressures, measuring our distances, it gave us a good indication as to what would happen.
All set, Daniel?
We complemented that with rubber glass getting thrown in there, air getting blown. So you add all those elements together, and him throwing himself, and luckily he had long hair.
That was fantastic, Daniel.
If you want people to make a head whip look good, have long hair.
You all right, mate? Looked really good and violent.
He's impaled inside a vehicle, the vehicle's on its side. From that one gag, the amount of prep that went into that. How do we have the car? How do you want to see it? The actor's impaled, how long does the branch want to be? And they took out parts of the actual mechanics of the car, slid these giant posts through the car, slid it down over it, welded it, and then installed it at their location. Because when you have cameramen up top, the actor inside, you know, there's a lot of weight that can be on that car. So you need to make sure that there's no way it could topple over.
Hold still, this might hurt.
Yeah! Yeah!
Madison pulls the branch out of Troy because she's made an uneasy truce with him in that moment. She's not doing that from a place of compassion or because she wants Troy to be more comfortable. It's literally all pragmatic for Madison at that point.
Keep talking like that, I'll put that branch back in you. I really love working with Daniel Sharman.
And I think the characters, Madison and Troy, have an interesting chemistry together.
My eyes are wide open. When this is all over, I make sure he doesn't hurt anyone else. You have to turn back.
Why?
Well, we do have a man-made swamp on this location in Savannah. Production team created this incredible rope bridge that goes across the swamp. It's very Indiana Jones.
I think every crew member wanted to go on the bridge and take a photo. It was so beautiful. It looked so derelict. And even though I knew it was so sound and safe, even me walking over it gave you a feeling of, this is crazy.
You know, rushing across that bridge, it was pretty precarious. I almost fell one time, and I was like, ooh, it's pretty scary.
Because they're falling sideways, we wanted to make sure that the handrail drops first, so that gets out of the way and doesn't create a possibility of them getting entangled into it.
Crane!
So we knew no matter what, that this bridge will fall this much and then hit another safety and be secure.
This is exactly what you deserve. It was beautiful, it really was. It was such a beautiful set. The bridge looked incredible. It was a really fun gag to do, especially growing up and being enthralled with Indiana Jones. It was in a cool moment.
Turn around. You stole from us. Now an example needs to be made. Starting with the other side of your face. No, 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 no!
Recreating the sanctuary was one of the tallest orders we've ever done.
Good luck. I was the VFX supervisor for Walking Dead. I started on season 9. I got to work all the way through season 11. And the first time I ever walked on the sanctuary set was in Sonoy, Georgia. And that was a really big set. It's iconic. That set's been long gone. It's packed up in boxes somewhere on a lot. And they're like, we're going to build it here.
It was incredibly exciting to see how they were able to pull that off.
It's really weird to walk back onto a set that you've been to a long time ago, but we're not in Atlanta, we're not in Sonoya, we're not on the stages where the original sanctuary was built, so we had to recreate it here in Savannah, and our art department and set deck did an incredible job recreating this.
They built it in like a week.
Did they?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the universe that's playing some sick joke on me, but I'm not going in there, not for you, not for anyone.
There's all these little details. We have a lot of people on the show that came over from The Walking Dead, and so we're able to find all of this minutia and these little pieces that are all the same exact props and the same exact set dressing that they had previously.
It just landed us right back here in this hellhole.
It was surreal to be back there in the place that we started, essentially, and tell that story through its completion and have this very cathartic experience on the set that we started.
It's a bench.
When we started to see the first images of this set coming together, we were looking at them side by side with old shots of the sanctuary from The Walking Dead, and we could not tell the difference between them. It blew us away.
You can kind of see that the place has seen the ravages of time. It's been kind of torn apart, it's fallen apart, walls are falling over. It's not in good shape, but it's cool to see some of the iconic locations and the iconic pieces of that location, like the big furnace, the iron. It's great to see that again, and it was kind of trippy to be back on this set.
Some good old PTSD.
This is not a coincidence.
We're trying to tell a pretty detailed story within this collapse. And really, we're trying to find those moments that track our characters and what they're going through, while also telling the story of structurally things falling apart, what our antagonists are going through.
Had a feeling I'd find you here.
As with any gunfight, VFX plays a big part in keeping it safe. On set, we use types of guns that they don't fire any projectile. All they do is they slide back, a little bit of smoke comes out, shell ejects, but VFX adds the muzzle flash and adds any sort of impact. That's where we kind of merge the practical and the VFX together.
It's a mix between stunts, special effects, and VFX. And so we have special effects that are dropping lightweight debris and heavier things.
We just shot a scene where there was another building just falling in on us. That thematically happens a lot. The walls are closing in, there's dust everywhere.
Sherry, look out!
They would have either buckets of debris or we would have big sheets of the ceiling material that we would dress debris on. They'd have a line on it, so then they'd drop it, you get stuff falling in the background, and then to reset, they can hoist it back up, fill more debris, and be ready to go.
The best things are always when you have something real to start with, and then finish it with VFX.
We did a gag where we had a giant fan motor that was on a cradle. We're going to see this giant piece of metal come down and squash on top of this performer. The way we did the AC unit coming down and crushing the human was called a VFX com. So basically the cameras were all locked off. We had the stunt actor inside fighting with a walker, and then we called up and he just looked up to the sky and then reacted and kind of fell down. And then VFX put in the AC unit, took off the safety, and then dropped it exactly where the stunt performer was.
And we take those two pieces and we merge them together. We trace out that AC unit a little bit, and we put the guy in there, the other walkers. We had a big old blood splat, and we'll call it a day. It's a fantastic effect, but it was really simple to shoot.
I think I'm gonna enjoy this.
We're adding a lot of debris falling with visual effects. We're adding CG debris, dust, just enhancing everything. Stuff wiping your foreground can always add to a scene. We're dropping a lot of stuff, but most of that is foam, so we can't show it hit the ground because it'll like bounce a few feet. VFX is adding heavy things, making that weight feel real and making that destruction feel dangerous.
Am I glad to say goodbye to the sanctuary as it collapses? For me as a person, it's bittersweet. But obviously for the character, he'd like to see it burn in hell. Holy sh**.
Hey, Mikey. Yeah. Michael Satrazemis, who has shot many episodes of Fear the Walking Dead, shot the finale and did an amazing job. And he has been a tremendous partner throughout our time on Fear.
Perfect, and action.
Directing the series finale is a big deal to me. You know, I want to end it with everybody. It's a circular ending that feels really, really rewarding to circle back to the pilot, to the beginning, get them together, and end it that way.
That's beautiful. That's all we need out of that.
We had Colman, Padre, and the three acolytes arriving, coming off the boat and walking up the pier.
We look like warriors, me and the three acolytes. It's fantastic.
So it's this beautiful jump up in the air.
Oh yeah, that's me doing my stunts, yeah.
He must have a couple of thousand walker kills under his belt. He's a pro by now.
All those skills that an actor has, you pull them out. I'm very physical. I was in the circus when I was 21 years old. I can jump, I can tumble. So it was like, you know, I do martial arts, so it was good to like use that, you know?
Perhaps we could discuss this in a more civilized manner.
The big thing when you're kind of narrating a story is to try to find a way to really make it special. And that was to go into super slow motion where then I can time cut the highlight reel. So I can get big emotional pieces, big action pieces, and time cut through. They feel like a memory when you're narrating the story.
It was interesting with the cast to just really rehearse those beats and get them all really down. And we just kept rolling for 3 hours, and it was absolute mayhem, but just mayhem with tempo. It was beautiful, a lot of fun, and the cast absolutely crushed it.
We have Madison leading the walkers with a flare.
He's bringing them down into the basement. They're falling down the stairs, crashing through things.
And action!
I'll add neoprene padding to the stairs themselves and paint that to match so the performers can be even more aggressive with throwing themselves.
Pacing it in a way that it looks like everyone's falling down the stairs at the same time while not colliding with each other until the bottom takes quite a bit of timing.
She's marching too with the flare, guiding them over to the oxygen tanks.
We have to make all of those pop as soon as she hits them and spray this CO2 gas.
I'm gonna run into it, right?
Yes, please. All right.
This is a pretty big gag for us, probably the most complicated one.
What's happening?
Because anytime you have an effects person trying to time themselves with the performer's action of hitting something, it becomes very tricky.
As Madison throws the flare through the door, the stunt performers will throw themselves back.
There'll be CGI walkers, there'll be CGI explosions.
We'd blow everything apart.
But we won't actually practically be filling the corridor with flame. Visual effects will be adding that explosion.
There'll be a lot of pieces here that are gonna all come together to be one awesome shot.
The only way to pull this stuff off is to kind of lock eyes with everybody, make sure you're loaded with talent, and know that when you describe what's going to occur, that we can split up and make it occur. And we have so many people on every technical level, in every department, including the cast, that I always know that we're gonna be fine.
Thank you guys. It was really beautiful, you guys.
Great job.
Amazing!
Don't come any closer. I'm not here to hurt anyone. Keep your hands up and move slowly towards the tent.
They pitched me this idea of reuniting with Alicia in the end. That's one of the reasons I wanted to come back.
Mom, Alicia.
Madison's story and Alicia's story would never really be complete if these two characters weren't able to come together one more time.
I didn't know how you could possibly be alive, but I had to be sure.
It was amazing to have Alicia back. Everyone was in tears when we were shooting those scenes. It was just impossible not to.
It's a blessing to have her here with us. She's always been a star. She brings power to everything she does. Thank you.
It's been amazing coming back. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
To have Madison and Alicia separated for so long, having been through so much, it felt like the right ending. It just felt right to give them that reunion. And Kim and Alicia have such a history.
She and I both love this show so much and the fan base, and I really love those scenes. They're sort of fantastical in a way.
You said you heard a story about me.
This story, this kind of mythic action that she took is what brought them together. When you believe in something bigger than just survival, you're going in armed with some pretty strong ammunition. And it's like Strand says, this is the way that you live forever.
We had all of our characters at this crossroad with all of the supplies from Padre, with the idea that they're all going to these different corners of the apocalyptic world.
Where are they gonna go? Who are they gonna find out there? How are they gonna survive?
Are you sure you're okay with this?
They don't need me. They're like the people who stepped in for Alicia. They'll do better if they think I'm gone. It is kind of a Western, isn't it? We just ride off into the sunset.
Are you out?
Yeah, I'm out.
Have a wonderful year.
Thank you, sweetie.
It's really bittersweet to say goodbye to the show. It changed my life in so many ways. It's really rare that you get the chance to work on something so creatively fulfilling, and at the same time you get to do it with such warm, brilliant, kind people.
Dude, it's all you, baby. It's all you.
I don't think that happens very often.
When you're shooting a season of Fear the Walking Dead, you are just in it. And then sometimes I just sort of come up for air and I think, wow, it's almost over.
Even though these characters are splitting up, the things that they believed in will be the common thread that will keep them together and that they'll be able to carry on past the end of the show.
The storytelling in it is so beautiful and so challenging. It resonates so much with everybody, so I love being a part of that.
It's not because I don't care about them. It's because I do.
I remember being on The Walking Dead. It feels really small when you're here, and then you don't really think of how many people the show reaches. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is wild. And I got to tell like a really dope story.
Yeah.
And these characters survived. That's huge.
No, I know. Hey.
Working on Fear the Walking Dead for all these years has been incredible. Monday through Friday, we're here in the apocalypse. It's crazy to think of all the walkers we've killed. All the action from water work to vehicle work. It's been a dream for a stunt department.
I think it's a duty of mine to make this as best as possible.
We're lucky that we have such a great team to surround ourselves with so that every day we're pushed to do something great.
Well, we found each other against all odds. You know, actors, we have our group, we have our troupe, and God knows we're in the trenches with each other on this show. It's always hard to say goodbye.
Just soaking it in, trying to look at every micro moment and just kind of let it play on you, you know?
What direction are you headed?
I can't say goodbye to June. I actually can't.
It's over, Daniel.
I'm not ready to let her go. I mean, she's always gonna be with me.
I'm all you got.
I really love playing the character. I love doing the show. I'll miss it.
It's never gonna be what it was. But doesn't mean we can't start over.
Okay, cool. Here, let's go. Last shot, guys.
I don't think it's sunk in yet that it's over.
We are series wrapping 3 more actors.
I'm so honored to have been part of this show and this universe, and it will stay with me forever.
Time is one thing we do not have.
8 seasons of Fear the Walking Dead together and being best friends on camera off camera.
I love the action stuff. Like, I live for it.
She's always like, can I kill like one more?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, she gets into it.
My experience on Fear the Walking Dead has been dynamic. I made so many beautiful, creative friends.
It's been special and to, you know, you see?
It's a beautiful gift that you leave this show and you know that you have love wherever you go.
This is a wrap on Mr. Colman Domingo. What an evolution in just 8 seasons. I know I can see it and I can feel it. Thank you for hearing my voice. You really changed my life. Thank you.
I just want to thank the fans, because without them falling in love with these characters, falling in love with this world, we wouldn't get to tell these stories.
It means the absolute world to us that you spent time to watch this.
You truly are the best fans in the world.
I hope you guys have enjoyed the blood, sweat, and tears. My heart's been in it since day one.
It's been a fantastic journey, and I can't thank the fans enough.
You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for your passion, for your support, for your letters, for your notes, for tuning in.
I wouldn't have this without you. So thank you.
Thank you.
I can't thank you enough.
Thank you to the Fear the Walking Dead fans. Let's go home.
Here we go, and one more, action.
Action.
This feels like the Titanic.
For your consideration.
Do you mind? I'm acting here. Man at work.
You're a little young to be a prefect.
I'm not a prefect. I'm a perfect.
Work.
You should start asking some questions.
That's why you hit. What's the light?
Thank you, Justin. Reset. That was for the gag reel. Come on, deeper in the frame. Try to keep up with the car. That's Karen.
That's your mom.
And my mom's creepy.
Dwight, you suck.
I'll drive you into the cliff, Colman.
Crazy! The hell did you do? Look, turn the boat around!
Bye, bitches!